So, Nintendo have just cancelled plans to take Switch 2 pre-orders on the already published schedule today, but just in the USA, owing to Emperor Trump's impending economic tariffs. And Nintendo has not yet announced a new date on which the Yanks can expect to be able to pre-order the console again. When speaking to GameSpot, Nintendo Media Relations VP Eddie Garcia said the previously announced date of April the 9th for taking pre-orders would be pushed back, adding they'll update timing at a later date, although the Switch 2's release date of June the 5th currently remains unchanged, even in the USA. Hello again, I am Blunty, and hey, maybe, hopefully, this will finally teach a few of those the other red hat types, what tariffs actually do, and who they actually affect, and who actually, in fact, pays for those tariffs. Because so far it's been like trying to explain quantum mechanics to a drunken Afghan hound, trying to drill this into their heads. What tariffs are and who pays for them. That comparison, by the way, kind of relies on you knowing already that the Afghan hound is widely considered to be the least intelligent and least adaptable dog breed, although they are a lot cuter than the typical MAGA type tends to be, so it's not a perfect metaphor. Look, Afghan hound, they're adorable. Stupid, but adorable. Not the same. But maybe at long last, they will start to understand what these tariffs do to, like, regular American people. Or possibly will they just imagine that Nintendo and the like will just switch to making their products in the USA to avoid the tariffs instead. Big brain move. $5 says that statement will unironically be posted somewhere by the end of the day. I'm serious. If you see that, come give me $5. Now, before I bite in a bit more detail here, I want to front load this with the promise there is an apology and there is empathy coming. I know a lot of you, most of you who watch me in fact, are kind and wonderful people, because the kind of audience that I've tended to attract over the years, and indeed which parts of the audience I repel with certain pieces of my content, it's safe to assume a fair chunk of my American viewers are in positions of almost inevitable genuine trouble in ways far more important than the price of a Nintendo console, or indeed eggs. So please, let me get back to you at the tail end. But before we get there are things I am feeling a strong compulsion to say. Because while we're on the subject of those who worship at the orange Tesla, you have to wonder how those who keep screaming, "Keep politics out of gaming, stop injecting your politics into gaming," anytime they so much as glance at a rainbow flag or a woman that doesn't make them want to wank furiously, appear even in passing in a video game trailer. The red hat types, no, not that red hat. I have to wonder how they're feeling right about now. You know, now that politics in their games is in their games in a way they can't blame on trans people or non-objectified women or people of color, unless that color is orange, I suppose, or someone who wasn't born on American soil, or an actual male, but one that displays non-hyper-masculine traits like making soup or knitting or having human feelings that extend beyond rage and the building of cabinets. And let me be clear here, like super duper clear. When I say I have to wonder about how they're feeling, I don't mean, by any measure, I care about how they're feeling, because all the rest of us saw this inevitability coming. We warned them about it long before their elections even happened. We pleaded with them to listen, and they didn't. I have been personally waiting for this, not the price hike of the Switch, but the moment the dipshit-in-chief's scattergun dementia brain tariffs affected something so popular and so common and so widespread across all economic classes and across all cultural subgroups that it can't help but at least turn a few more previous supporters' faces to the light of reality. Gaming is the world's most popular entertainment medium, and people from every class and culture engage in it for escapism and relaxation. Many more rely on it as a key passage for them in their social lives and connectivity with other people, far more than the price of goddamn eggs or what a car costs or even the gasoline that runs those cars, I am eager to see, in a Schadenfreude kind of way. Hey, German friends, did I say that right? Schadenfreude? I'm never sure about how to pronounce it, but goddamn, I love that word. You folks have super good hyper-specific words, and that's my favorite one. But I'm eager to see the cognitive dissonance of the Red Hats. No, dance like coked-up ballerinas on 5-day benders. To watch them twist and bend and somersault and tie their grey matter in knots, desperate to try and find a way to fold this into their understanding of the world without also acknowledging they are indeed in a cult, and their cult leader is a monstrously incompetent dickhead being led by the dementia-riddled remains of his brain by some truly despicable people who fucking hate you. I'm already seeing some of them suddenly switch gears recently from, hey, relax, we'll be fine. This is great. These tariffs will be a big W for us. Everything will be awesome and cheap, and we'll all have so much disposable income now, and things will be cheap, and jobs will arrive because the big man in the White House, who somehow went broke running a casino, amongst other things, he's the best at knowing business. Nobody knows business better than him. Everyone says it. And boom. For some reason, this week, these same people are all now suddenly changing their tune a little bit. Now, they're all like, hey, you don't need to buy new things. You don't need gaming consoles and iPads. You can just not buy those things and you'll be fine. You only want new things, you see. And that's a big difference, wanting and needing. Wanting things can't affect your life at all if you just stop buying them. Because, economies tend to do really well when people stop buying luxury items like entertainment products. That's always a super duper gold star sign that your country's economy is doing great. Really, really great. That astonishing cognitive dissonance of these drones is truly worthy of medical study. And I'm not saying that sarcastically or ironically. I mean, we need to study these people's brains, get them in scanners, get them in front of psychologists and psychiatrists, because there's something wrong with their brains, like properly wrong, and it can't be a good way to live. I actually feel genuine empathy for these people, because I have mental health issues and I know how difficult it is, but constantly living with that level of cognitive dissonance and being unable to escape it, must be a fucking nightmare. Back to the Switch 2 situation specifically though. I shall now make more of my amazing predictions, and those of your regular viewers know how astonishingly accurate I've been with my Switch 2 predictions so far. But gamers in the Red Hat Guild know, who have previously been excited or simply neutral even on the hype train when it comes to the Switch 2, will now change up and start spouting things like, oh, I didn't even want to buy a shit Tendo 2. The games all suck anyway, and everything looks like a PS3 game. Blech. That will happen. It's probably already happening. And again, every time you see that, $5. Give me $5. I also predict you'll see, well, only the poor and the lazy who can't buy Nintendo now, and I laugh at poor people. They should work harder. Because, there's one surefire way to show that you're a good, intelligent, empathetic person than to laugh at people who live in disadvantage and struggle just to get by through their daily lives. Yeah, that means you're the good guys. Laughing at the unfortunate people. That means you're the heroes in the story, doesn't it? That's how that works. I also predict you will see people going, well, I'm just going to boycott Nintendo now. Just boycott Nintendo. Not realizing, or at least completely unwilling to release their cognitive dissonance to put the blame where it actually lies and blame Nintendo instead. Let me help you out with that one. It's not magic or some kind of incredible coincidence that Nintendo have already responded to gaming journos inquiring about it, that indeed no, the pricing and pre-order situations in places like Australia, where I am, or the UK, or Canada, or Europe in general, and so on, are not changing a damn thing. Pre-orders stay where they are, prices stay where they are. Because they don't need to change. Because it's not Nintendo forcing the situation here. Please tell me you understand how that works. Because it's painful that all of this stuff comes from the conservative side of things, who have for a very long time now been screeching, and I mean screeching, about how the left don't understand economics and they should learn economics, and that under Republican leadership, prices will go down day one, and all that kind of shit. Well, surprise, the things the left were all warning you about, like literally everything, the left said he would fuck up, he is fucking up in exactly the ways that you were warned it was going to fuck up in, because that was always the plan. Project 2025, that thing that he insisted he knew nothing about, that's the plan. And he's been going down that plan, checklist style. There is more than enough evidence out there now for you to see that, right? Everything on that plan he's doing, including trying to relax child labor laws in the US. So every one of you who said, oh, it's only going to affect this company, and they use child labor, and Nike and Apple, they use child labor, and I don't care if they're struggling, if they get hit by tariffs. You care that much about child labor? I mean, it's literally your side who are trying to make child labor easier to do, to make it far easier for corporations to exploit children for their labor. That's you guys. So if you hate child labor that much and you think it's that offensive, maybe do something. Say something. And my personal frustration with having to keep stumbling across these dickheads saying dickhead things, because I don't look for it. I just keep falling across it in my day-to-day internet life. But it gives me a very strong desire to mock, deride, and lampoon them. They're getting exactly what they voted for, and what we warned them they were voting for. And now they're starting to freak out about having to sleep in the shit-covered bed that they made for themselves. But I also realize, despite my urge to lash out in smug derision at them, there's far more of my audience, the people I speak to, that are good people, kind people, generous people, amazing people. People who help me when I swallow enough pride to actually ask for it. Thank you. I still have frequent, types who leave nasty little comments, which I delete, by the way, because no one needs to see that hateful shit in my spaces that I control. This is my house. I decide who gets to talk here. But really, it's very clear that the vast majority of at least my most engaged viewers, the ones who leave thoughtful comments, on-topic comments, and want actual conversations about whatever the topic of the video is, are not the red hat types. No! And behind all of this shaking of my fist and whatnot at those people, please know, I have a very deep empathy for your situation. Not just about the Nintendo prices thing, of course, but, the other more dangerous stuff that they're trying to do. Heat from fire, fire from heat. And I really hope you can all pull together and turn the goddamn ship. And I really hope stuff like this turns more of those people towards the light so they can see what's going on. And they will join the fight to turn the ship. Because that iceberg scraping sound on the starboard side sounds a lot like it needs a lot of people to pay attention to it. I feel like that's an important noise, that someone should do something to perhaps stop that iceberg scraping noise. And for the rest of you, he says, knowing full well they never had any intention of listening and super duper don't have the attention span to get this far, but just for the sake of saying it, I never, ever want to hear again about politics having nothing to do with gaming and to keep politics out of gaming. It has never been true, and it has never been less true than it is right now. So, shh. You can't pretend that's the thing anymore. Right? Right. So I've said my thing now. I really needed to get that off my chest because it's a stream day, and we're on Twitch stream today. We're going to be playing the new Monster Hunter content that has dropped, the new monsters, the new quests, and new stories and stuff. And I really wanted to get into that and not have this stuff bouncing around inside my skull. I'm sure it'll come up on stream today, but now that I've got a video out about it, I can say, hey, I talked about that at length in a video. Can we just get on with doing happy fun times and fight monsters and stuff and have fun instead of talking about this stuff? So now that I've released that from my brain, I can have a nice fun stream day, hopefully. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty. Thank you to the patrons. I will catch you next time.